Hi, welcome back, folks. Kevin Garrett with Top Down Traders here. I'd like to thank you guys for taking a few minutes out of your time, out of your day. I know you're busy, so am I. So let's get started because what I have to say today is important because I'm going to create this series and I'm going to title it Daily Bread. Now, this is a five-part series, and I'm going to rant and rave a little bit because, I've learned a lot over the years. I'm focused on my style and how I trade, and I'm trying to help others, trade if that's what they want to do. So if you're serious about trading and you want mentorship, somebody to help you understand and how to be consistently profitable, pay attention, like, subscribe my channel. Reach out to me in my private group, or do a one-on-one with me, where you can get your specific questions answered more quickly as opposed instead of me just dropping another video. You can talk to me one on one, but you have to schedule that time with me because, like you, I'm busy too. Now, what I'm going to teach you here, it's not really, it's a skill, uh, but it has to be learned. It's something you're going to have to practice, drill, and rehearse on. Because if you want to get your daily money out of the market, you need to know what you're doing. It's really that simple. You don't need to watch a lot of videos and they show you how much money they're making. And oh, I made this amount of months in so many minutes. So what? Who cares? It's not your money, and it's not going into your bank account. It's not something that you can access. It's not something that you can go spend. People tell you all type of things online, but I'm not going to try to give you a whole lot of hype. But I want you to develop a simple skill. That way, you can get your daily bread out of the market every day. You'll be able to see the market set up. You'll be able to be patient and wait for the price to come to you and set up just the way your strategy is works that you develop, or maybe a strategy you got from somebody else. Either way, if you want to learn how to trade, the most important thing is when you do trade that you can get money out of the market. So I want you to be able to see the setups in the market with confidence and start building your daily bread right away. So let me be clear. If you're new to trading, your focus should not be on money. What am I saying here? Well, you need to learn, practice, drill, and rehearse before you put money at risk. Your focus should be training. Your focus should be developing your skill. Your focus should be not thinking about the money. You should be practicing. When I was younger, I played football for a lot of different football teams, but before we went into the game on that Saturday morning or that Friday night, we did things every other day. We practiced. We went over the same offensive drills, and when I was on defense, we went over the same defensive drills. If we were going to blitz, we would call it out. If I was the quarterback, or if I was a receiver, if I was a running back, and in the huddle in football, the, the quarterback's going to call the play. And I need to have been practicing that play all week in order for me to execute it properly. And it was basically repetition. I could hear coach say, "Do it again. Why didn't you go out wider? Why did you look at that receiver first? He's your first man. He's your first go-to guy. Here's your primary. Here's your secondary, depending on what position I'm playing. Or why did you run the route right?" In other words, I needed to have discipline. I need to practice. I need to know what the play was or is at the time of the call. And trading is the same way, because not every setup is the same. But there's a way for you can trade that setup. But if you haven't practiced it, if you had it done repetition, seeing that same setup form every day, and you don't have the discipline to recognize it, you won't be able to get your daily bread. You'll be losing over and over again. So what I want to talk about in this video, and I'm going to point out some things over here in the chart here soon, real soon. I want you to start getting familiar with your platform if you haven't done that. Because if you skip that step, you're going to do what most people do. You're going to miss it. A lot of people watch a lot of different videos. They think they got it. No, you just can't watch this video one time. It's not going to happen that way. You know, it, it's like when you're in the university, when you're in college, when you're in high school, any educational program you go to, even at your job, when they give a lecture or a training thing, they expect you to go home and study that material. That way, you can be more confident. When you come back to work, you don't have to jump into your job not knowing, but you'll understand what the expectations are. And then, if something happens, they say, "Wait a minute, did we just have a training about that? I thought you just learned that yesterday." You get all emotional, upset, pissed off. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Okay, well, then you allow fear to set in, or you get emotionally disturbed. But with trading, and when you get into fear or hesitation because you don't want to make a decision, because you don't know your strategy, you haven't practiced it, you haven't drilled on it, you're preparing yourself to lose. That's why you need to practice. And let me give you a hint. You are going to lose when you trade. Don't make no ill thoughts about you're going to win every time. That's not going to happen. It doesn't happen in the market to anyone. But how are you going to respond to that loss? That's what's going to be something you have to develop on your own and your own risk tolerance. And just don't get greedy because there's going to be another setup in the next hour. In the next 15 minutes, there'll be another setup. But if you don't know what that setup looks like on a 15-minute chart, you'll hesitate. Why? Because you haven't trained, you haven't drilled. And it's not bad luck. It's really a lack of preparation. And you make the decision on what you're going to do by you making a decision to either discipline yourself and learn or you're not. You can make all kind of excuses you want to. You can go watch another video and see somebody else make money. And then you be thinking to yourself, man, I could do that. I could do that. But guess what? That person who's doing that consistently, they practiced. They know they trade setups. They know the time frame they like to trade. They know what time of day they want to trade. They have a system in place. They have their own trading model and style that they're used to, and they'll follow their own rules. And they don't care what nobody else is doing because whatever they develop and discover for themselves, and it's consistent, that's all they'll follow. They'll follow the rules of the markets. So I don't care about, you know, how many videos you watched. I care about how much time you're going to practice on. If you want to get daily results consistently to get your daily bread out of the market, you're going to have to practice. You're going to have to drill. You're going to have to rehearse. And wherever you are in life, whatever stage you are in training, whatever stage you are, if you're here for the first time and you watch other people's videos and that didn't inspire you, I can't help that. I can show you what I do on my charts. If you don't get it, I can't help that. If you don't discipline yourself in trade and get and learn the platform and all the tools on the platform, I can't help that. That's a personal choice you're going to have to make. It only tells me one thing. You're not ready for your daily bread out of the market. You want to stick to whatever you're doing, and that's fine. Everybody makes their own personal choice. But in this lesson today, the daily bread, I'm going to highlight some things in the charts. And if you're watching my charts, uh, I don't share this secret with anybody, just everybody, but I'm going to share it with the world today. I have different trading styles, and it all depends on the time of the day and what market I'm going to trade. Because some times of the day are better than others, but that doesn't mean you can't trade any time of the day. You just need to change the way you trade during the different times of the day. And we'll get to that. Maybe I'll bring that out on the other video. But today's lesson is getting daily bread, okay? And I just want to remind you, if you're not going to make a commitment to this series, watch all 5 lessons, then that shows me you just didn't make a commitment at this time. Maybe you'll do it later. Maybe you're too busy. That's what people say. I'm too busy. Still struggling in trading. Still hesitating. Still making the same mistakes. Too busy to learn. And you'll still make the same mistakes and hesitate and struggle too if you haven't been trained properly. That's exactly what happens when you sit in front of the market unprepared, not having a model, not having a skill set, not able to recognize signatures in the price action. But your training, your discipline, your dedication, and your experience will change everything. Let me show you some things in the chart that changed the way I trade. First off, there's two things. You have a 1 minute chart I'm looking at, and on the right side, you have a 15-second chart I'm looking at. I'm going to go back to this line right here. It's a dotted line, as you can see. That's the opening bell. That's when the, the New York 9:30 opening bell took place. But guess what? Before this time period right here, let me identify it more clearly. Before this dotted line, the market was still open, but it was just trading in a different session. So I'm going to highlight this one little area right there. That was the high of a different session. And this was the low of the chart. Well, it wasn't a complete low prior session. If I went down further, we'll find the low of the prior session. And the real low of the prior session was way down here. And we have an area here that seems like there's not a whole lot of price action going on. Let me highlight that area. Yeah, we had something called a gap. We'll talk about that later in another video, but that's important to know and keep track of. So let me do something here before I rant and rave. I'm going to lock that for future reference. Okay, for daily cash flow, your daily bread, you need to be prepared before the market opens. You need to know where price has been in the past session and where is price likely to go in the future session. Are you listening? Let me reset this chart. Uh, Here's our opening price, our opening bell. Let me get rid of some of all this stuff in here. If you don't know what I'm deleting, then I encourage you to watch another one of my videos. All right, so we have the opening price here, and this is how you get your money out of the market every day. You plan, you execute, but you need to know what you're planning on and which direction the market is going to go into. So if you're serious about trading, you have to be calm, prepared, and more precise, make better decisions, because this is going to happen every single day in the market. The market's going to do three things. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, or it's going to go sideways. And if you don't have the experience, spending time in the charts, get reading the tape, learning, discipline yourself, creating your plan and strategy, then you're guessing and you're gambling and you're going to lose money more quickly. But in this series, I'm going to teach you about the open and bail, what the signatures to look for. I'm going to get rid of this 15-second chart and just drill in on this other chart. Oh, did it the wrong way. Go over here, open that one up. So now, let's talk about details and more specific. Price opened up, it went higher, it reversed, and on this closed candle, it practically closed some of that gap in the market price. Here's the gap. and they call this a new day opening gap. Okay. Does it do this every day? No, not all the time. Should you expect it? No, not all the time. But you need to be able to recognize it when it does appear. Does that make sense? Like and subscribe if you think that makes sense. Show your support. Buy me a cup of coffee if you think that makes sense. Now, when the price opened, it opened up really quickly. Boom, went way there. It pulled back and it left a gap. Price on a consistent basis always comes back to fill that gap. It filled it more than halfway, right? And then price rallied higher and higher. Then it pulled back again, went down a little lower. Then it rallied up higher, rallied up higher, rallied up higher. And then it paused, stalls, and reversed. Here is an area that should always be on your mind when you see it. It's called a 3-bar reversal. And I'm going to share with you on this video that I haven't shared on my other videos. It's the bottom of this wick. You should place a limit order. Where did I put it at? I'm not going to do all that. I'll just do this. Place a sell limit order here. Period. See that to the right? When you see a candle wick like this, it has a name. It's called a doji. But when you see it move and go to another place, it opens back up here, goes back down. You should put a limit order right here. And I don't care what time frame it is. Well, let me rephrase that statement. I'm not sure what kind of trader you wants to be. If you want to be a swing trader, position trader, a scalper, intraday trader.